I'm Edie Elkan, founding director of Bedside Harp, which would never have come into being 24 years ago had it not been for our very own bedside harp angel, Robert Wood Johnson's Vice President, Diane Grillo. It was Diane, you see, who brought us to this hospital, which is to say, it is Diane who validated and encouraged us to do the work that we do and have done. And since our very first graduation celebration in 2002, it's been Diane who year after year generously comes in on a Sunday and helps to make this most significant day for us. This year has been no different, except this year she's interrupting a well-deserved vacation and driving 4+ hours to be here with us today because a bedside harp graduation would just not be the same without her. Would you say a few words?
That was too much. And believe me, ask anyone in my family or people that work for me, angel is not something that I'm often called. I like to stir the pot. I like to think outside of the box, and sometimes not everyone appreciates that. But that's really how this whole thing started. Many of you know me. I'm Diane Grillo. I'm the Vice President for Health Promotion. And I have the a role of the hospital that's kind of on the administration side. So I have pastoral care, and our chaplains are volunteers, and community education. So that's the business side. And then also this vision that I had with others 25 years ago about building a wellness center here off the hospital campus, even though we had the opportunity to build on the hospital campus. Something to keep people healthy out of the hospital. So even though we're in the, my administration side says we're on the acute care business side, really my job's to keep people out of the hospital. And so I wanted to really focus on wellness and prevention. And it actually happened to be at a program on holistic medicine like 25 years ago at St. Mary's in Bucks County. And that's where I met Edie. And she was performing there, and the harp, I'd never even thought about like harp as one of the things that we could offer for, back then it was called alternative medicine. She is the true angel. That harp, that music, her personality, her drive to offer this to so many people in the community was really, we clicked. So aside from like loving harp and the music and everything that, that you do, it was Edie and her personality and her drive to really want to share her talent with everyone that really kept me, like, we have to have a harp program. And so my vision for like combining like mind, body, and spirit and healing, Edie was really like instrumental in like pulling that forward. And then as we kind of progressed, we built this center. This center's 20 years old. We hired a holistic nurse, and now Patty is one of the nurses that works here on integrative therapy. And we continue to want to grow the harp program. And so my message today is like really a thank you to Edie for for continuing over 20-something years to bring this program to our hospital and to others, but also to all of congratulations to our graduates, but to everyone else. Not only do you touch the patients, and Sister talked about the patients. Think about the people that go through a hospital. There's the visitors, there's the employees, there's the physicians, there's the community members. So HARP touches all of those people that walk through the doors of a hospital. Most of them, we don't have OB at Robert Wood, so that's the only unit in a hospital that's the happy place. So most of the people that come to the hospital are sick. And not only are they sick, but they're family members. And I think everybody in the room can attest to how that feels to have someone that you love not well. So this brings a little bit of respite, a little bit of joy, to everyone. And so we really, from myself and everyone else at Robert Wood, we really want to thank you for all that you do. And congratulations to our graduates. I hope to see, I know someone doesn't live in the neighborhood, but I hope to see some graduates, and then also our
Thank you, Diane. How wonderful it is that my former student, Everett Pierce, agreed to perform for us today. Everett was, I believe, 8 years old. Oh, here? Oh, sorry. Everett was, I believe, 8 years old when he took his first harp lesson with me. He had grown up hearing his grandmother, my former student Mary Ellen Christ, practicing her small harp from the time he was a baby, and it touched him deeply. And at 8 years old, he finally asked her if he could learn to play too. Everett never missed a lesson, was always well practiced. His progress was truly exceptional, so much so that I began to talk to both him and his grandmother about his moving on to take lessons with solo recitalist and orchestral harpist Marianne Meyer, with whom he's been studying for several years now. I'm thrilled to have him play for all of us now. Everett, you made my heart sing. I came upon a Facebook posting this week describing a visit that Brian May, co-founder of the rock band Queen, had with master violinist Itzhak Perlman, who was hospitalized following a medical procedure. Brian brought his guitar to Itzhak's bedside, and Itzhak grabbed his violin, which of course he would have taken with him to the hospital. I quote from the posting, "The two began an impromptu performance that turned a cold hospital room into a sanctuary of music and memory, creating a sound that felt like a prayer. By the final note, Perlman whispered, 'I needed this.' And in that moment, the room felt transformed, not by medicine, but by the healing power of music between two souls who understood what it meant to endure. This is what we train for and do at Bedside Harp. We harp therapists first learn to play for our own healing, and then many go on to serve the depressed, the seriously ill, and the dying with our little harps, hoping to make a difference. We strap on our harps and step into the mysteries of life, illness, pain, suffering, and death. It's a very special kind of person indeed who feels called upon to do this work day after day, year after year. And just about every time we go out, we have at least one encounter with a patient, visitor, or staff member that reminds us why we came to this place this day. We could not make these comments up. Just a few. A patient: I'm worried about my tests, but your being right here outside my door makes me feel very safe and helps me to not be afraid. Thank you for being my angel of healing and hope just when I needed it the most. A visitor: the husband of a patient came outside a room, let out a big sigh, and said, "Your halo is shining brightly. Your music allowed me to realize I was holding my breath with concern for my wife, but the harp music allowed me to breathe with relief and to be more positive about my wife's healing." And a female staff member in her 30s turned to see the harp. She smiled and said, "That is just what my soul needed right now. Thank you, thank you." We are proud at Bedside Harp to be known for our rigorous training and certification program. One of 5 programs accredited by the National Standards Board for Therapeutic Musicians, Bedside Harp requires the longest closely mentored internship of all, 130 hours of playing hours, not just hours, but playing hours for our first level, and an additional 120 playing hours for the mastery level. This in addition to 97 hours of classroom training, readings, reflections, and other writings. You can believe that those whose graduations we celebrate today are not the same as they were when they first came to Bedside Harp. I'm delighted that Bob Bednar, our highly skilled healing sound practitioner, who everybody has seen only online, is a key presenter of our certification program and has been since I figured 2013, is here today and has agreed to say a few words.
Thanks, Edie. It's hard to believe that it's been 12 years since we got together. We met through a different sound program, and Edie explained to me that as soon as she saw me present in the other program, she was like, "That's what we need. We need someone who understands the science and can explain it to others." When Edie asked me to come here and say a few words, and I'll try and keep it to a few words, because those of you who've taken my classes know that I can be a bit long-winded at times. But it's been such an honor and a privilege to be part of this program and to have all of you as students. I understand that the science can sometimes be scary, often can be dry, but I've never seen such interested and engaged students. And that's the legacy that you will move forward with is your interest in this and your engagement with it, and that's what will carry you through. And that is my hope for all of you, is to never stop learning, never stop asking such interesting and difficult questions, and to continue to engage with this, not just with your emotions, but with your thoughts and with your mind as well, because it's your mind, as you all know, that is the instrument of listening, not the ear itself. So please move forward and continue your quest, and for your own healing and the healing of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. That is impressive.
So what I said to Bob after I sat through his presentation was, "You're our missing link." And he was, but he's with us and has been for now 13 years. So if you arrived early, you heard our fabulous harp circle play under the expert direction of our own Noreen Stewart. Again, thank you again, dear Harp Circle members, and Noreen for your wonderful music this afternoon, and also for playing 2 weeks ago at the Somerset Folk Harp Festival. Our Harp Circle is now held virtually and has gone completely international. We have harpists joining us these days, not only from all over this country, but from all over the world, including Dubai and Australia. They join us virtually to expand their repertoires and harp skills in our lively, weekly virtual practice sessions. So now let me ask our master musician and harp therapist, Noreen, who earned both her first and mastery levels of certification in 2005, has played over 3,000 hours at the bedside, and has been a Bedside Harp certified instructional mentor for nearly 20 years, to come up and share her thoughts about her journey.
Well, I met Edie in 2004, and I'd like to tell you a little bit how that came about. Most of my adult life, I was a professional bass player. I played in the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra for 33 years. So bass was my instrument. I had taken piano lessons as a child, off and on for a few years, but it just didn't grab me. But the bass did, so that's what I wound up doing. I guess it was the late 90s or so. There was an opportunity in a church I was going to. There was a church split. There was no one to play keyboard in the church, and I found myself volunteering to do that. I don't know what came over me, but anyway, I kind of jumped in. There was a woman who sang, and we pulled it off. I learned how to play music from lead sheets, which is just the melody and the chord symbols, and most of it was contemporary Christian music, and I learned how to fill in, and I learned how to improvise a bit, so that was great. And then somebody else came along in a year or two who played the guitar and sang and did everything. And so that was the end of playing in the church. And I thought, I've learned this skill for a reason. There's a reason that, there's got to be something else, another reason why I did this. And a little later, I heard about one of the people at the church said, my mother-in-law was deathly ill in the hospital, and this woman came in playing a harp. And it was the most amazing thing to see this woman playing the harp at the bedside. And I could just feel the divine presence. It was awesome. So I went home, and I thought that was really interesting. And I looked at my mail. There was a flyer from the local hospital, which is Robert Wood Johnson in Rahway. And I never pick up the flyer, but I picked it up this time and looked at it. And there was a 2-page article with a big picture of Edie playing the therapy harp in the hospital, and a really interesting article about the work she did. And so I read the article, and it talked about a program of certifying people to play in the hospital. Anyway, I was very intrigued by it. So I called the number that was listed, and I talked to Edie, and I said, wow, this sounds really great. Would I be able to do that on keyboard? And she said, no, and it has to be harp. So I said, okay, thank you. And I hung up. I had no intention of playing the harp. I mean, I just was learning how to play the piano. So that was the end of that. And then a couple weeks later, somebody else mentioned about somebody playing the harp in the hospital. So anyway, I called Edie back, and I said, I'd like to talk to you some more about your program. And she said, well, I'm going to be at Rahway Hospital on Tuesday night. Why don't you stop by and we'll talk about it. So I did that, and that's when I signed up for lessons, signed up to go through the certification program, and that was it. That was my introduction to the harp, and I still played in the symphony, but went through the modules and played the harp. I enjoyed playing not only the bass part, but the melody and the harmony, and that was a real treat to me. So all the things, the skills that I had learned in the church, the chords and the improvising and the filling in, it was like it fit right into what we were learning on the harp. So it just seemed like the logical next step to take. So anyway, I started my journey then, 2004. I stayed with the symphony another 4 years, and then I decided I wanted to devote all my time to bedside harp, and I started teaching, and it's just the most rewarding thing, playing for patients and seeing the difference that you make, and sometimes bringing people to tears of being touched by the music, and it's just an awesome privilege to be able to do this, and I'm so very grateful. I feel like I was meant to meet Edie, and so I continue to do that, and I love working with the Harp Circle and teaching, and I'm so grateful for the journey I've had with bedside harp.
There are no coincidences, I'm sure of that. There are too many people who came to bedside harp because of something that happened before, and they were led to us. One person that I'd like to come up now and speak is 𝙀𝙤𝙚𝙐𝙐. She's another one of our Master Harp Therapists. She first came to us somewhere in, I think, 2014. Linda plays our professional hours at 2 of our contracted facilities. She's amazing, and I've asked her to share her bedside harp story with you today as well.
Edie forgot to mention how good looking I am, because when I'm introduced, you know, I'm amazing and good looking. I was first I was first introduced to Bedside Harp. I believe it had to have been 2008. 2008 was an absolutely crazy year for me. I was working 6 days a week. My husband was in a nursing home. I had 2 foster children who would like to jump out the window in the middle of the night, and I was always trying to track them down. I had a daughter who needed to go to the doctor 3 times a week, and my mother, who was dying of cancer, had come to live with me for the last 2 years of her life. And at one point, I lived very close to Valley Hospital. She was in Valley Hospital. And I thought, okay, I am going to finish up work, and then I'm going to run over and see my mother at the hospital. And then I'm going to go home and try and corral these children and make dinner and do the 1,000 things that most of us have to do when we have teenage children. And I got to the hospital, and I was nuts. I was absolutely nuts, because this was just something to do on my list of things to do. And I stepped off the elevator, and I heard this woman playing the harp. I was so amazed to hear this. I just leaned up against the wall. I took in a few deep breaths as I listened to her play. And then I was able to go and visit my very sick mother and be present. What is the point of visiting someone in the hospital when you are not there for them? It took 2 minutes. I'm certain I said thank you afterwards, and I went off to my mother's room. Those 2 minutes absolutely changed my life. I thought, when I retire, this is what I'm going to do. Those 2 minutes changed my life. I now, carry my harp with me every place I can possibly carry it. I use it in as many places as possible, because the gift that we have received from Edie is something that we need to share with everyone. We don't know the difference that we make. I just said thank you to that woman. That woman didn't know she changed my life. And every time we go into the hospital, people are usually very, very polite with us. I have never had anyone be rude to me when I'm playing the harp. Some people, it's not the right time to listen to the music. That's fine. But every single time I have entered the hospital, I know that there is going to be one interaction that I have been placed there for that interaction. I don't know the difference I made, for the people who say thank you, or, and they're very happy to have it. But there is always one time that you say, that's why I was here today. Recently I played for a young man who was dying. I looked into the room, I actually saw a guitar on the couch. And I thought, I just peeked in the room, I was playing, and I said, oh, you have a guitarist, I don't think you probably want a harpist. They said, no, come in. And I'm playing whatever song I had been playing in the hallway as I step in. And I see the age of this patient, and I see that he is young, and this is the end of his life. And I realize I'm playing the wrong song. And for some reason, I said to them, this isn't the right music, let me play something else. And I started to play Let It Be. His wife started to sing along. His friend who had been playing the guitar started to sing along. They are singing, they are trying to pull this person back into the present moment so that they can, I'm going to cry now. You don't cry when you play at the hospital, but remembering this, the wife was laughing, she was crying, they were singing. This man came back to himself. These may have been the last moments that the people who loved him got to spend with him, not just a shell of who he was. To be part of something like this is such a privilege. It doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes we're playing for the staff members who, so many of them are so very, very young, and they are working with people who are dying all the time. These are young people that we are offering some a solace to, who really, really need it. We are in a position with our little harps to make such a difference. I went into my daughter's classroom a few years ago. She was a special ed teacher. There was an 8-year-old. He had had hemolytic uremic syndrome when he was 6. After that, he had a series of strokes. He couldn't talk. I brought in my harp and I did my little demonstration for the class, and then most of the class left. And I was sitting with him, and I was telling him about the harp and the strings. He said the short strings are higher notes because the strings are short. The long strings are lower notes because they're longer. And all of the aides, there were 4 aides in the room and the teacher, they all started to cry. That was the first full sentence he had said in 2 years. So I know you have worked so incredibly hard. I am going to cry now. We have been given the privilege to change people's lives. Even you play that song, 1 or 2 songs for a patient, for a family, people say things like, I will remember this until the day I die. So please, pick up your harps with joy. I play in a nursing home. It transforms these people. Don't judge yourself. The first time I went into the nursing home, I played every chord wrong. I sang loud. They could have cared less. They're not critics. They're not the New York Times. They want to have a good time. And if you have a good time and share that, you are going to change them in that moment. They go from being asleep to becoming social. So please, please take the gift that we have been given through Bedside Harp and Edie, and now I am crying, and share it, because it is a privilege to be able to do this. Thank you. Okay. Oh, we need a picture of my crying.
Well, here we are, just a few months away from entering our 25th year. Who would have thunk it? Certainly not I. When I first came to this hospital a month after 9/11, I brought not only my little harp, but I brought a dream as well, to create a healing harp program which would include my playing for patients, visitors, and staff, teaching those in the community how to play harp for their very own healing and comfort, and training and certifying those who were inspired to play at the bedside. When I described this to those encouraged, meaning Diane and others, they said, whatever you want to do it here. And so I did. It was so revolutionary at that point, though. Nobody had ever heard of doing this in a hospital setting. But in my wildest dreams, I would never have dared to imagine that 15 additional hospitals in Pennsylvania and New Jersey would have partnered with us, or that we would have trained and certified over 200 harpists to play in healthcare and taught over 1,500 people how to play the small harp for their own healing and comfort, and that our students would hail not only from all over the country, but from all over the world. And also the Temple University's music therapy department would ask us to be an affiliate of theirs, that we would have been featured in newspapers like the New York Times multiple times, and even on the Today Show. In truth, if someone had predicted all of this, I would have been too frightened to launch Bedside Harp. Build it and they will come is the best way to describe it. And I built it and they came. We always report our latest numbers at our graduations. Currently, we are actively contracted with 7 hospitals, 4 in New Jersey, here at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in Hamilton, where, as I said, we've been since 2001. The Valley Hospital since 2004, Carrier Clinic since 2017, and Jersey Shore Medical Center since 2023, and 3 hospitals in Pennsylvania, Jefferson University Hospitals in Bucks County, Torresdale, and Frankfurt, where we've been for the past 4 years. At those same hospitals, as of June 2025, from the start of our program, from all the hospitals that we've played at, our professionals and interns have played one-on-one sessions for 130,520 patients. We know this because we document all of our playing hours and all of our one-on-one sessions with patients, because in healthcare, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. There's truly something very special about a harp in healthcare, which is why our mission is to train as many harp therapists as we can to serve not only in acute care and behavioral health hospitals, but also in cancer centers, rehabs, independent living, nursing homes, memory care, and hospices. All of our training is intense. Our first level involves 144 classroom hours, reflections on readings and movies, as I mentioned earlier, and a 130-hour closely mentored internship, and a 36-hour online college course on ethics for therapeutic musicians, not to mention all the countless hours of practicing, repertoire building, and documenting. In short, our first level graduates jump through a lot of hoops and have had to overcome a great many fears and personal obstacles to achieve this meaningful credential. Today, we have 6 graduates at this level. All of our graduates today will receive their certificate, a rose, a bedside harp handmade stole with a heart in their name, the heart pin for every 100 hours that they've played, a blue stole for first level grads, lavender for mastery level grads, and for all of them a medal for all that they accomplished. When students first gather for Module 1, most are nervous and full of questions. The most common one being, will I be able to do this? Everyone graduating today managed to do it, some in record time, and in the midst of challenging situations. Our dear friends at New Jersey's Virginia Harp Center gifted each of you a $50 gift certificate. We're so grateful for their recognizing and celebrating our graduates this way every year. And there's also a small gift from me, a just published book of Mark Nepo, one of my favorite poet philosophers, who invites the reader to explore with him the rhythms of the second half of life, the creative half. Our first level harp therapists receive 2 designations, Certified Harp Therapist and Certified Therapeutic Musician. Earning these certifications to serve the sick, the depressed, the anxious, and the dying is definitely not for the faint-hearted, or is it easy. But we do this because all of us at Bedside Harp feel this is our calling and our passion. And so when I call your name, if you're here in person, please come forward to receive your certificate, a rose, and your graduation gifts. And if you're joining us virtually, you're going to get all the goodies except the rose. We can't ship that, but you'll get all the goodies in the mail, including your certification. So Gail Arnold joins us from Michigan today over the internet and will be receiving her certificate and graduation goodies in the mail. Once she completed taking our classroom modules, harp in hand, she bravely approached a major hospital and introduced them to harp therapy by playing her entire 130-hour internship there. We're hoping that they'll now hire her as their in-house harp therapist. Congratulations, Gail. Sarah Bone, where do I begin? We who experienced the most beautiful tea ceremony that she presented to us this year will long remember the peace and calm she offered us. Sarah is also a published chef. Her book, Compassionate Cuisine, 125 Plant-Based Recipes from Our Vegan Kitchen, is a real gem. And that's not all. She's a certified Reiki practitioner, and as of today, a bedside harp certified harp therapist. Congratulations, Sarah, here today from Fishkill, New York. Retired from a career in the military, Diane Lofink is a performing harpist who felt the call to serve with her harp at the bedside. In 2019, several years before she enrolled in our certification program, she encountered a Middle Eastern woman at a hospital who appeared to be very sad. A professional harpist, Diane wondered whether music might cheer her up. But at that time, she was not playing at the bedside. That image stayed with her, and when it came time for her to choose a topic for her bedside harp practicum project, she decided to search for a tune that might bring comfort and hope to members of that community in her area. That in itself was an adventure. I'm happy to say she did find a tune, the theme of Rodrigo's concerto, learned it, and now it's an integral part of her repertoire. She's here today from the Tennessee countryside outside of Memphis to receive her certification. Congratulations, Diane. Lane Hagberg, joining us today virtually from Jamestown, New York, is another of our extraordinary graduates today. Previously a financial consultant, Lane came to Bedside Harp a few years ago with the dream of becoming a certified harp therapist. Then life happened, and the pandemic, and all kinds of other challenges. And so she had to temporarily defer her dream, but it never left her heart. Now, with but a few short steps to go, she will officially graduate before the end of this year. Way to go, Lane. In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy is searching for a way home, which can be understood as a search for her true self. The lesson revealed at the tale's end is that no one can bestow realness on you but you. And that comes about by living authentically. I can attest that Carolyn McRae Joining us today from California is one who lives authentically. A fairly new harpist when she came to Bedside Harp in February 2024, Carolyn truly came home to herself through her bedside harp journey, not only with her playing, but in so many other ways as well. She completed all of her requirements in less than 2 years and officially earned her certificate last December. We're delighted to celebrate her accomplishments today. Congratulations, Carolyn. Deirdre Moore joins us today from Michigan. After retiring from her career as an administrator and financial aid director of 2 medical schools, she immersed herself into training, practicing, and then teaching Qigong and Tai Chi. And as if we didn't keep her busy enough doing her internship and going through our certification program, she's concurrently been studying medical Qigong as well. A couple of months ago, she offered our harp therapist community a beautiful Qigong healing session. Deirdre is Bedside Harp's designated representative on the board of the National Association of Therapeutic Musicians, and today she's an official certified harp therapist and certified therapeutic musician. Congratulations, Deirdre. And now to our 2 newly certified Master Harp Therapists. Attaining this highest level of certification involves, as I said before, playing an additional 120-hour internship, more readings, more writings, and a 48-hour course on research. And they have to both write and present their practicum project, which is to say that our 2 new Master Harp Therapists jumped through even more hoops after attaining their first level of certification. I'm delighted to award Connie Arcilla with her Master Harp Therapist and Master Therapeutic Musician certifications today, even though she officially earned them this past winter. She's experienced far too many personal challenges since she began Bedside Harp certification journey, but challenges that would have stopped anybody midstream, but not our Connie. After she achieved her first level, she went on to mastery level, and since February has been working as a professional harp therapist in 2 of our host hospitals. She also represents Bedside Harp on the Rep Council of the National Standards Board for Therapeutic Musicians. Congratulations and thank you, Connie. I thought I first met David Penn like 15, 16 years ago. He reminded me it was 25 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. He was working in Princeton with an adult special needs son of 2 of my instructional students. We lost contact for many years until one day he called me out of the blue, I think about 4 years ago, to tell me that he had moved to Georgia and wanted to start taking harp lessons. And he was a serious student. Soon after that, he took our first level of certification training and became certified. The hospital where he played most of his internship wound up hiring him, and he works there still, as well as at other healthcare facilities. Today, he is officially a Master Harp Therapist and Master Therapeutic Musician. Congratulations, David, who came here from Georgia to be here today. We now honor and offer a rose to all who have journeyed with Bedside Harp and who have made this such a special day. The object of this part of the program is to collect as many roses as you can. So please take a rose, our speakers, our singer, our hospital friends here with us today, Diane, Patty, Sister Jane, Bob Bednar, Noreen, Linda, and Sharon. Our professional harp therapists who play in our host hospitals, Linda, Modashami, Beth, Rini, Karen, come and get a rose. And now all of our certified harp therapists who graduated in earlier years, come on down. Our harp therapist interns, current interns, our harp circle harpists, come on down. Our certified mentors and staff, Noreen, Karen, and Rachel. And last but never least, a deep bow of gratitude and a rose for my best friend and husband, Matt Elkan, without whose love, understanding, patience, and tolerance to share me with everyone in this dream of mine called Bedside Harp, none of this would be possible. To all whom I've taught, mentored, worked with, have spent any time with, my dear students, mentees, and colleagues, friends, and family, you and I have traveled to wondrous places together. You have touched my heart and made my life all the sweeter. I want you to know how much each of you means to me. If I have disappointed, harmed, or hurt you in any way, knowingly or unknowingly, I ask for your forgiveness. I wish you only the very best, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your time, your talents, your love, and your life with me. Thank you. So we move now to recite our oath of service found on page 3 of your program. Will our certification former and new graduates and our interns please rise and recite our oath of service on this page 3. I swear to fulfill, to the best of my ability and judgment, this covenant. I will use my harp to the best of my ability to serve those who call me to their side. I will treat all whom I serve with warmth, understanding, compassion, and love. I and each person I serve are equals. We are, each of us, connected to the other. All suffering is like my suffering. All joy is like my joy. I commit myself to a lifetime of learning and professional and personal growth. My training and experience will be used to benefit all whom I serve. I will not be ashamed to say I do not know, nor will I fail to ask for help and seek advice when needed. I will respect the privacy of those whom I serve. Their problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially must I tread with care in matters of life and death. If it is given to me to serve through a birth or through a death, all thanks. I will face such awesome responsibility with great humbleness and awareness of my own frailty. I will remember that service is the work of the soul, resting on the promise that life is a holy mystery whose purpose is unknown. I will respect the hard-won gains of those who have brought music and other arts to healthcare, those who have gone before me and in whose steps I walk. I will gladly share such knowledge as is mine with those who are to follow. I will remember that I remain a member of society with special obligations to all my fellow human beings, those of sound mind and body as well as the infirm. May I enjoy life, music, art, poetry, love of family and friends, respected while I live and remembered with affection thereafter. May I always act so as to preserve the finest traditions of my calling, and may I long experience the joy of serving those who wish me to be by their side. Another tradition at Bedside Harp is to sing the song written by Debbie Friedman, "And You Shall Be a Blessing," to our newest graduates as they set out on their journeys to bless thousands more with sweet notes. We are so grateful that Sharon Jacobs, the Bedside Harp intern, will sing it first to our newest graduates, and then she'll invite the rest of us to join her as we sing it all together to them. it's rather amazing for those of us who have been classically trained that, harp circle never practices live together and they pull it off. And Sharon and I never practiced together, and we did it too. So. Sister Jane Urban offers us a closing benediction. I hope you'll join us afterward for a beautiful reception hosted by Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, Hamilton. Thank you all for making this a most amazing day.
Ancient and holy mystery, forever gliding through the ages, your presence resounds in the beating heart of existence. You are a steady rhythm of enduring love. In the landscapes of our being, make us your instruments of healing service. Through the open form of our hearts and of our lives, call forth from us a symphony of praise. Sing in us your compassionate love.
Thank you, and thank you, those present and those joining us virtually. Bless you all. Bye.